Hi, I'm Bill Snodgrass, and in today's video, the part of the Tahoe is going to be played by the Escape. Today's video, we're going to talk about the growth mindset. Particularly, the concept is going beyond the growth mindset. This is episode 130, and so that's what we're going to talk about today. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. The growth mindset is an evaluation system. It's a way of doing evaluations. That's really more how far did you go rather than how far did you end up. And it's become really popular in certain educational settings. Now there's obviously some places where a growth mindset is appropriate. There are places where you would say it's not really fair to evaluate me on oil painting if I've just started and this other person has been oil painting for 25 years. And so the growth mindset would say, well, look where you began, and I want to give you credit for how far you have come. So if I start here and I go this far, I get credit for coming this far. Whereas if you're here and you only go this far, I've worked harder to get my gain than you did when you only had just a sliver of gain. You just put a little work in and you went up a little bit. And this is great. In situations where the goal is to create growth and to create improvement, then the growth mindset is exceptional. A lot of fitness concepts is like, for me to be able to get to where I could run 6 miles would be a pretty big achievement, where someone who is already a marathoner, that would be actually going backwards for them. So there are places where the idea of how much work did you put in and how much did you change, how far did you go, where that is appropriate. But there are a lot of situations where the growth mindset is phenomenally incomplete. One would be construction. To say, well, you know, here's your restaurant. We don't have a roof on it, but you know, when we started there was nothing here, and now there's a foundation and some walls. I don't think the restaurant owner would appreciate that. Or if you were in a restaurant and you had ordered a hamburger and they brought out a raw patty, and the cook says, well, it was frozen when I started, and look how much closer it is to being cooked than it was. Not gonna work. So the growth mindset has limits. Rewarding people for how far they've come is a two-edged sword. On one hand, being recognized for what you have accomplished and being recognized for the effort that you've put in, that's a very encouraging thing to do. So students who have maybe an art class who've made a lot of effort and made a lot of gains, to say, look, you've really worked hard and congratulations, and you're going to be rewarded for that effort. I think that's a good thing. But on the other hand, suppose I took singing lessons and I went from awful to bad. I'm still bad. For me to just stop at bad is incomplete. To say that, well, I used to be terrible and now I'm awful, but I've almost got my way up to bad, so reward me for that. That is taking the concept of the growth mindset and corrupting it. The concept of the growth mindset is to acknowledge and reward the gains. It is not to teach people to be complacent, to teach people to accept mediocrity. It is not meant to say, well, you know, you went from awful to bad, so you can stop there. The growth mindset is meant to acknowledge gains and encourage continual growth. It is to say, look how far you've come, you can go further. The danger is that people will get hooked up and hung up on look how far I've come, and they will forget the going further and getting to excellence part. So to reiterate, the idea of the growth mindset being a way of encouraging achievement, a way of encouraging growth and gains, that's a great thing. But ultimately, we need to move beyond the growth mindset. We need to move into a pursuit of excellence. Administrators who evaluate trainers, teachers, managers, supervisors, the growth mindset is a great thing to adopt as a way of saying, look, I see you're working hard and I see you've made these gains, and I want to congratulate you on that. But it's not the end. We need to move through the growth mindset as a way of motivating and creating a desire to improve, but we need to push for excellence. We need to move beyond the growth mindset to a mindset of adequacy and excellence. I don't want to go to McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's and have them serve me a raw piece of meat and say, well, you should have seen it when we started. It was frozen like a brick. Except I don't know if bricks are actually frozen, but it was frozen as hard as a brick. So I think that's what I meant to say. I don't want that. I don't want a raw hamburger patty. I don't want my restaurant to be half complete. And they said, well, you should have seen it when we started. I went from bare ground to foundation and studs. You should be happy. I've come a long way. That is not complete. That is not complete. That is not what the growth mindset is meant to do. So as a student, when someone pats you on the back for your effort, you should appreciate the fact that they're patting you on the back. If you're being trained and the manager says, well, you've come a long way, that doesn't mean you can stop there. You need to move through the growth mindset. You need to move beyond the growth mindset to the point where you're pursuing excellence. Ultimately, as we develop our craft, as we develop our skills, the goal should not be how much we've improved. The goal should be, does my output stand up to the test of whatever the normal standards are? I could go out and start running, and I could probably, I could take my 14-minute mile and work it down to a 10-minute mile. Well, that's good. That's a good gain. But really, that's not going to stand up in any race, by any kind of racing standard, by any kind of measure for running the mile, getting a 10-minute mile. People would say, I could walk that fast. That's kind of the point. Congratulate people for the effort, for the gains, for the accomplishments, for the change that they have created, but that should also encourage them to continue on and press for excellence. Should continue to press for the final output being something that is recognized as this is the way it should be. Here is your restaurant complete with walls, lights, benches to sit upon, and apparatuses with which to cook. Here's your hamburger. It's cooked all the way through, medium well, just like you like it. It's not a raw patty. I made you some Kool-Aid, but I forgot to put the sugar in it. But, pat me on the back because it started off just water. Not patting you on the back for that. Well, maybe I would. I don't know. If you were like 4 or 5 years old. That's all I got. Thanks for watching. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video with someone else. In your own life, find those areas where you are growing, and set your eyes on that place where you will have adequacy or excellence, and you are doing things at a level that are recognized as being acceptable, as being good, as being excellent. I guess that is all I have. Thanks for watching. See you in the next episode. Chase excellence.